Hello, happy mixed drink Monday. So I was in beginning the process of packing up today. And I was like, I got alcohol. I got one bottle that I got from my bestie's 30th birthday last year. And so that is what we're using for mixed drink Monday today. I'm like, I don't even know how much of this to use. Like the other stuff was wine. This is like rum, but I don't think it's that bad. But yeah, that's what I'm drinking today. I could probably do kiwi with the rum. I gotta like drink up rum. I just got groceries. I need a cook. I gotta do stuff. But anyway, for today's Mixed Drink Monday, we're going to look at the 2 full moons in Capricorn. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the Fable Makers Tarot because I love the deck dungeon challenges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull before and after the Capricorn. So the 2 of Pentacles for the first full moon, the 4 of Pentacles for the second full moon, and then the moon card because it's a full moon. Now the cards before and after will say that there's 2 challenges. If it's a major arcana card, it's not a challenge. Yeah, if it's a major, it's not a challenge. Oh, there's also whispers from the weave. I'll read them. Or maybe we'll do one. So the card before will be the challenge. The card after will be, I'll read the whisper of the weave from that. I'll also have the wild unknown alchemy. I don't know if if it's going to be like one alchemical process happening basically all of Cancer season between these 2 full moons, or if it'll be like multiple. So I'm going to roll the D4, and that's how many alchemy cards I'm going to pull. If it's 1, I'm going to assume that it's 1. I need to write all this down. Let me see. I'm like, what happened to my keyboard? Hello? Oh. Ooh. So I remember. If I don't, I'm kind of forget. So I'm going to just type it up in a sticky note real quick. Where are the sticky notes? Sticky notes. Sticky notes. I might timestamp this one. We'll see. So we're going to start with the moons. Full moons. Full moons of Cancer, 24. We got the 2 of pennies, moon, 4 of pennies for the first and third decans of Capricorn. Shouldn't it be the 2 and 4 of cups? I mean, I guess since it's a Capricorn full moon, I was like, oh, well, I didn't even catch that. I guess we're going Capricorn. We're looking at the moon. It's not bad. I just don't know how much like alcohol that is. I don't know if I pour too much. It doesn't taste like I have enough, but you know. So we'll do the 2 and 4 pennies with the moon. The card before will be Deck Dungeon Challenge. The card after will be like the not clarifier. I'll do the whispers from the weave. And then we'll do an alchemy. let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's do 2 and 3. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then in the alchemy, we'll roll a d4. D4. So if it's 1, it's going to be one alchemical, we'll say one process season long. If it's 2, then it's going to be 1 for each full moon. If it's 3, then it's going to be 1 for each lunation. Meaning that like the new moon in Cancer is going to bring something. And if it's 4, it's going to be 3 plus 1. So meaning it's going to be 1 for each lunation and then 1 for the overall process. Like it'll be 1 for the overall process and then the sub processes. I could have did 3 like that. But if I did 3 like that, I wouldn't be able to do 4 like that. Because 3 could have been 1 overall and 2. Well, I guess I could still do it like that. 3 could be 1 overall and 2 for the full moons, and then 4 could be 1 overall, and then 3 for each lunation. I'm going to do it how I put it down. So this is what I'm going to do. It took me 6 minutes to decide. Cool. Let's go. All right, I can move this back now. I woke up today. I don't know what the transits are doing. The transits are transiting Henny. I just felt like at peace today, but like strangely at peace, almost concerningly calm. But especially this morning, I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like balanced. Like if I were whatever, I would say like I feel. What's the word? I feel at balance. There's a word that I'm thinking of, but it's not coming to my mind. I feel like it starts with an M. I feel at like peace. And it's almost strange. 4 of Cups, Ace of Swords at the cut. Ooh. Okay. Cancer is the 4th sign, so I'm going to give this 4 shuffles. And then Capricorn is the 10th, so I'll cut it once. Judgment with that 4 of Cups. Ace of Pentacles with the 4 of Cups. So we've seen the Ace of Swords. So the 4 of Cups is there. It's been Ace of Swords, Judgment, Ace of Pentacles. And this is the last one. We have the Lovers with the Ace of Coins. We saw the Lovers yesterday. Cool. And then we're going to do that one time. So before I go looking through that, I'm going to give these one more shuffle and then we'll be ready to go. Conjunctio, conjunction, and oil of vitriol. At the cut, I can't see. You're going to have to wait. Thank you. Okay. I almost put my earrings in. I would have been wearing them literally just to go live. I guess I'll do the same. That was 2. Ooh, Mystical Sister, Soar Mystica with sulfur. Interesting. I don't know if I've seen Mystical Sister. Now we have Smoke with sulfur. So that was the 4th, and cut it there. Sure. Okay. Let's get into this. I already put it away. We'll say 9. We'll say 10 minutes. Excuse me. I'll just make a note. I was gonna put it in a thing, but I'm gonna start building spreads again. I'm gonna get back into I'll use this one. It's now, we'll say, oh gosh. Oh. 10:20. Pulling. Okay, searching at the car wash. I'm gonna pull from the top of the deck. Since this is a full moon, I don't know. I just feel like pulling from the top today. Ace of Chalices is the first card. We've seen the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Coins, and now the Ace of Chalices. Lots of aces. We have these lotuses opening up. We have the dove flying into the cup. We have these ever-flowing waters pouring out. The 2 of Coins and Justice. Now, this is an 11 Justice, unlike the 8 Justice that we had the other day. And then the 2 of Coins is here. This is interesting. Ace of Chalices, 2 of Coins, Justice. This is almost like letting your heart be your guide type energy. Or it could be like if there are multiple, I mean, it's a little bit more than the 2 of Swords, but the 2 of Pentacles, 2 of Coins can have an energy of like prioritizing. Like if there are multiple things that are sort of like offered, it feels like your intuition may lean in a certain direction. I always there's 2 ships in this card. One that's sort of like bobbing here, and one that's like riding the wave on the other side of the card. Almost like your intuition is going to be instrumental in deciding between 2 things. And it almost feels like, because it looked like he was slightly looking at the pinnacle that's actually lower. So I guess it would be heavier in that regard. But it's like, if you were to look at pros and cons as you just list things out, your intuition may be leading you to the one that has more cons or less pros. And of course, you wouldn't necessarily know why, because if you would, it feels like it would have more pros and less cons. But it's like with Justice here, like something that you deserve is there, or it will meet you there. Interesting. Ace of Cups. I mean, it is Cancer. This is literally, this is what I'm looking for. The 2 of Pentacles. This is literally the first full moon. Ooh, oh my gosh, I'm glad I caught that before I moved on. So the Ace of Chalices is the challenge, and then we'll read the Justice, the Whispers from the Weave there. I guess I can roll. I'll ask Siri or Google to give a random number between 1 and 5, but I'll read all of them. I didn't even catch that. Okay, cool. Page of Chalices, 10 of Chalices, 8 of Swords, Because I was going to be like, oh, two of coins, that's Capricorn. And like ace of coins is Cancer. And I was like, oh, I'm looking for the two of coins, girl. Come on. Seven of chalices, nine of coins, five of coins, king of wands, nine of chalices, the empress, wheel of fortune, knight of coins, four of coins, the star, seven of coins, seven of swords, judgment, knight of wands, the fool, ace of swords, queen of coins, four of chalices, five of swords, eight of wands, two of swords, ace of coins, the hierophant, the lovers, two of chalices, six of chalices. So if we were looking at Cancer instead of Capricorn, the two of chalices would be in between the lovers and the six of chalices. 6 again. But it's interesting because that would be like childhood. Emily! Oh my gosh. Hi. Hello. How are you? How are you doing tonight on this fine evening? Hopefully, I'm not on here too late because it's already 9 o'clock. But that's like childhood lovers type, high school sweethearts, whatever. Or because I love to read the lovers as choices. And because the energy of the inner child did come out recently, this could be a choice or decision that honors the inner child, or this could be an opportunity to like do something that you've always wanted to do. The Emperor, the Queen of Swords, 10 of Wands, 7 of Wands, the World, the Chariot, the 5 of Wands, Page of Coins, 3 of Swords, 4 of Swords, 4 of Wands, Queen of Chalices, the Tower, the Hermit, the Devil, King of Chalices, 8 of Coins, the High Priestess, Knight of Chalices, 6 of Swords, 10 of Swords, the Hanged Man, 3 of Coins, King of Swords, Temperance. All of this is already gone. We have, I guess this could mean that like this Cancer season is going to be packed. Like, because I haven't even gotten to like the moon yet, let alone the 4 of coins. And we like, this is the number of cards that we have left. Death is after Temperance, Page of Wands, 10 of Coins, 5 of Chalices, Ace of Wands, 3 of Chalices, 3 of Wands, 8 of Chalices, Page of Swords, Strength, Knight of Swords, the Moon. Okay. So we have the Knight of Swords. I feel like we see this card often. The Knight of Swords, the Moon, and the 6 of Wands. The Knight of Swords actually came out recently. I don't remember where it was. But I remember saying something like, the Knight of Swords doesn't know everything. The Knight of Swords isn't the King or Queen of Swords. So it's very, very possible that the Knight of Swords is misguided in some way. But it's more so reading as like, you know enough of what you need to know to get started. And with the 6 of Wands coming out on the other side of that, like it's making me think of the Archmage of Swords and how it's a test of logic and integrity. And it was that energy of like, you may not necessarily have the right answer, but your logic is sound. So whenever information is presented to you, you can rest assured knowing that you'll make the correct conclusion, that you'll interpret it in a way that it's meant to be interpreted. Then we have the King of Coins. This is all the, like, it took until like this many cards just to get there. This is the number of cards that we've gone through. this season may be like dense. And because this Knight of Swords came out so close to the bottom of the deck, the bottom being the more subconscious influence, again, it feels like it harkens back to, or it calls back to, the Lovers and the Six of Cups that was around the Two of Cups. It being like the fulfillment of a childhood dream or something like that. So this Knight of Swords could be like something that you've always known or something that you've always believed that wasn't necessarily validated by your external reality, by your experience in life. But if you continue to follow it, like the Six of Wands would be the payout. I happened upon some responses to like the Terrence Howard interview or whatever. And I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson's. I didn't read the whole thing. But he talked about the valley of like when you know, like when you're getting into something and you think like the Knight of Swords is definitely like thinking that you know a lot, but you really don't. Thinking that you're more knowledgeable about something than you actually are. And typically in the valley, as you learn more, you find out that you were wrong. But as you continue to learn, eventually you start to learn like what the truth is. But again, because the Six of Wands is here, it's like you end up discovering that you were right in a way about something. I don't know. The Sun, the Nine of Wands, and the Magician. I kind of love this energy. The Six of Coins, Nine of Swords, Two of Wands, and the Queen of Wands. So I have overlooked the Four of Pentacles, which is fine because I kind of wanted to get them in order anyway. So I'm just going to turn it back over. Am I going to shuffle it? Yeah, I'll shuffle it. Where was the Four of Coins? I read them out. I don't usually read every single card out. I did it today. So maybe if you were listening, watching, paying attention, I might go back and grab it. I might rewatch it to see where the Four of Coins popped out. But this Six of Wands validation for something that you've always sort of known to be true may, have you like rethink some things. Okay, there's a card that came out, two cards that came out face down. I will honor them. And we're just going to start here, I guess. Now, if one of those cards is the Four of Coins, then I'm going to go through this entire deck. But it's fine. We're starting with Death, Temperance, and the Nine of Swords. 13, 14, 9. What's after the Nine of Swords? The Two of Wands. So yeah, Death and Temperance. This could be a reframe or a rework. Whatever this truth is, it could be something that's like revolutionary, even if it's just like within your own life, which turns whatever this realization is, it's like it'll turn dead ends into doorways, or it'll make what has felt incredibly challenging seem, I want to say it'll make it seem impossibly easy, but it may just be like a reframe. It could be like, oh, like with that being confirmed, like I know what to do. Or maybe it's just like the encouragement to take another gander at it, you know? Hello, Janelle. How are you? Oof, I'm starting to feel the room. Four of Swords, Queen of Wands, the Hanged Man, the World. 1221, the Hanged Man and the World. Interesting. And then the Chariot after that. Three of Coins, Five of Wands, Page of Coins, King of Swords, Two of Chalices, Six of Chalices, the Emperor, King of Coins, the Sun, the Nine of Wands, Nine of Chalices, the Empress, and the Wheel of Fortune. So between the Emperor and the Empress is the King of Coins, the Sun, the Nine of Wands, and the Nine of Chalices. Now the Ankh on that Emperor, it's like it's doing something that the Wands were doing yesterday in that King of Wands, and then after that is the Wheel of Fortune. So, cool. Knight of Coins, Four of Coins. Here we go. Okay. Now it's like fairly. Right after whatever's happening between the Emperor and Empress, this is happening right before we look at whatever's going on the second full moon. I'm going to leave this card face down for now. I'm feeling it. A little bit of mystery. Each full moon is coming with a challenge. None of these are major arcana cards. Unlike Pluto's retrograde from Aquarius into Capricorn, where it was like no challenges. Like the challenge is, can you be supported? So the three challenges are the challenge of the Ace of Chalices, the Knight of Swords, and the Knight of Coins. Now we've seen the Knight of Coins with the Page of Wands yesterday. It clarified it. And then the Daughter of Wands came out clarifying the Page of Wands. So there's something that feels very almost primed here. Because we can see the Knight with the Knight focusing on this pinnacle. Because yesterday it was about concentration and focus. The pinnacle begins to spin and we see some leaves. It feels like the force isn't necessarily that of the Queen of Coins just yet, but there's something, it feels like the seeds are already planted in these fields behind her. So now, bottom of the deck is the Ace of Wands. And is that not the fourth ace? First, we saw the Ace of Swords and then the Ace of Coins with the Four of Cups at the split. It was the Ace of, I'm pretty sure it was the Four of Chalices. The Ace of Swords and the Four of Chalices. And then it was Judgment and the Four of Chalices. And then the Ace of Coins and the Four of Chalices. And then the Ace of Coins took that spot. We have the Ace of Cups here. And now we have the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck. There's our fourth ace. We just saw the Magician. It was what? The Sun, the Nine of Wands, and the Magician. And I was like, I love that energy. All four aces are here. I feel like I should use the Tarot, Astro Matrix Tarot, because, I don't know, I'm feeling Nikola Tesla today, apparently. And Nikola Tesla's on that ace. Let's go. Cancer is cardinal energy. This may be. Are these two cards for the new moon? Maybe not. These two cards are still face down over here. Because the moon here, it's almost playing the role of an internal validator. The Knight of Coins and the Four of Coins is such an interesting energy. This could be, I haven't necessarily read any of this yet, and we still don't know what this face down card after the Four of Coins is, but this may be like there's something that's affirmed for you, something that's validated for you. And you know what this is? I feel like it may be beneficial to, if there is something that you're doing, if there's an idea that you're revisiting, or if you come upon the circumstance that something from a while ago is now starting to blossom, it may be a good idea to think better and best case scenario and how you're going to respond and react. Because what this brings to mind is, like, let's say that there are people with a business. Like when I did the soybean competition, there were some products that actually like went to market from the soybean competition. And one of the people who ran it was like, if you do take this further, it may be beneficial to have a conversation about like shares and stuff like that before you come into major success. Because after all the money comes in, of course, people are going to want their share of it. But if the work isn't divided equally, or if everyone doesn't match the same level of contribution, they shouldn't. It's a question. If everyone doesn't match the same level of contribution, however that's defined, should they all get equal shares of the profit when it blows up? And it was just like, it's easier to have those conversations before a lot of money is on the line or whatever. That's one way of seeing it. The other way is it's almost like an energy of withholding. And I say that again because we don't see the seeds sprouting, blooming, whatever. We don't see the crop yet. But it feels like those seeds are planted and they're going to start blooming and blossoming. Originally, the Four of Pentacles felt more like an energy that may be like, well, nobody supported me up until this point, so I don't feel obligated to invite anyone into my success, or I don't feel obligated to share in the success because, again, like no one else helped, no one else did the work, no one else did whatever. Also, an energy of like someone who wins the lottery, and now all of a sudden you're finding out that you have family that you didn't even know you had. Type energy. Okay. Hey, wait, let me turn the volume up first so you can hear it. Oh, wait, is this another timestamp? No, I'll do it after I pull the cards. Okay. Oh, I should have known my volume was high enough. Okay. Hey, Google, roll a d4.
It's 4.
There we go. It's the number 4. So it doesn't matter if I did 3 as 1 and 2 or not because it rolled 4 anyway. We're going to get 4 alchemy cards. So there's going to be an alchemy of the first full moon in Capricorn, the new moon Cancer, the full moon, the second full moon Capricorn, and then like an alchemy card for Cancer season overall. We're going to get 4 of these. And how am I going to select that? Maybe so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle it. I'm going to shuffle it nice and good. Since I'm looking at full moons and I pulled from the top of the deck, I'm going to pull the top of the deck for the first full moon, the bottom of the deck for the new moon in Cancer, the second card from the top of the deck for the second full moon, and then I'll get the bottom of the deck first to get the overall alchemy, and then we'll go from there. So I'm giving it 5 more. Ooh, shuffles. That was 1, This is 2. I just saw breath. So breathe. Don't forget to breathe this Cancer season. Oh, don't want to bend the cards. Was that 3? 4, 5, and then we'll just cut it. Okay, so I'm going to pull this one first, and then we'll go one by one. Ooh, happy early birthday. Okay, so the cards are face down. Now, I wish I could open 2 instances of this. Can I? Can I? No. Boo. It's fine. I got bookmarks. So, deck dungeon challenge of the Ace of Challenges. So, with this, oh, wait. Timestamp. Got a timestamp. Almost forgot. We'll say 36 minutes, 36:10. Reading. And we'll say full moon 1. I'll do FM 1 because I can do it in post. Up. We'll do 36:20. This is your reminder that timestamps on this channel are approximations. So, with this first full moon in Capricorn, the challenge is that of the Ace of Chalices. So, with the Ace of Chalices, 2 glass chalices stand on plinths set 10 feet apart in the center of a room. Both contain sparkling clear liquid. At the bottom of each, there is a silver key that is clearly visible. The door in this room has 2 keyholes, and both keys are needed to unlock the door. To retrieve a key, a creature must drink the entire contents of a chalice. The key disappears if the liquid is spilled or anything enters the liquid, including magical effects such as Mage Hand. If the liquid is spilled or otherwise disturbed, the chalice magically refills after 6 seconds and the key reappears inside the chalice. The chalice on the left bears the word boon. Drinking all the liquid from this chalice gives the drinker advantage on wisdom checks and wisdom saving throws for the next 24 hours. The chalice on the right bears the word bane. Drinking all the liquid from this chalice gives the drinker disadvantage on wisdom checks and wisdom saving throws for the next 24 hours. If one creature drinks both, the effects cancel each other out. So if you're the only one, girl, you ain't really got to worry about nothing. You know what I mean? Because they cancel each other out. Now, this is interesting because, again, we have this 2 of coins. That is it's the signifier, the clarifier that we're looking at. But there was a feeling that it felt like taking the one that has more cons, less pros, the one that looks worse on paper. Now, again, to see the Lovers and the 6 of Cups on, like, flanking the 2 of Cups, meaning like where the sun would be, where the moon is here, there may be a reason. Because something about a long-held belief, again, it felt like it wasn't necessarily validated by your experience up until this point. But it would make sense why that would be what you choose, especially if that's the way that your intuition is sort of leading you. That would be the equivalent of like drinking the bane instead of the boon. To drink the bane instead of the boon it's a wisdom thing. That makes sense. It makes sense. You would have disadvantage on wisdom checks and saving throws. It feels like it would be unwise to make the choice or decision that your intuition would be leading you to make. But the thing about wisdom sometimes is that it is built upon experience. And If it's a brand new experience, it's almost like your wisdom wouldn't apply here because you wouldn't have a basis to evaluate one thing or another. You wouldn't have um, enough data to make a comparison. Like you wouldn't have anything to compare it to besides everything that you already know. Now we did just see. I kind of want to look before and after the Fool. Honestly, what deck would I use? Oh gosh, this is getting too deep. I'm gonna pull the SKT. I usually use the SKT when I do this. I started to grab the SKT earlier. I'll pull whichever one is on the left. I don't know if it's the Vitruvian or the Revelations. It's the Revelations. I'm gonna take this deck as it is. Choose a number between 1 and 3. I said as it is, and I'll pull from the bottom. Ooh. If you chose 1, you have the Seeker. The Seeker is the Fool that is experienced, but doesn't. The Seeker is the Fool that has some experience and needs a little guidance to go further. And it's in between the devil and the angel, or the demon and the angel. This is going to be how does it resonate for you? If you chose 1, these are your 2 cards. Nope, this is the Lovers, like chained up. If you chose 2 more majors, you have the Keeper. The Keeper is the fully awakened Fool. The Keeper is the Fool that's made it through the journey and it's all the wiser for it. And it is in between the Warrior and the Outlaw, the Sun and the Hanged Man. So if you chose 3, it's going to be the Initiate. And it's in between the Wish Granted and the Shining Quarry, in between the 9 of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is here as the 3rd full moon. The Initiate is the Greenhorn. The Initiate is the Fool. Like this, the Initiate is like Dorothy in Oz. My brain went Dorothy in Wonderland or Underland. I'm like, no, that's Alice. Dorothy in Wonderland. Alice in Oz. No. But it's just something that's like completely new, completely different. In between the 9 of Cups and the Shining Quarry. Did I show these enough? So if you chose 1, these are the 2 cards for you to interpret as you will. Note that this challenge is the Ace of Chalices, and we see an Ace of Chalices shaped cutout in the breastplate of the demon, of the devil energy. See, it's right there. It's missing an Ace of Cups. Also, it bears the South Node on its forehead. And the angel bears the mutable signs. If you chose 2, then you have the Outlaw and the Warrior. Almost given the Outlaw and the Warrior is almost like vigilante type energy, I guess. No, I guess all of the zodiac and the planets and everything else. And if you chose 3, it's the 9 of chalices, Jupiter in Pisces, and the shining quarry, which could be Virgo. So there's an opposition here between Pisces and Virgo. Mutable Earth. Cool. You know what? We're going to take it one step further because why not? I'm going to read your I Ching. Bear with me for a second. Oops. Okay. Can I not? Thank you. Now, this is the Vitruvian Book of Maps, but the I Chings are pretty similar between the two. So if you chose number 1, your I Ching is, what's this? Double Earth. Double Earth or Earth over Earth, which is I Ching number 2, supportive power. And it reads from the Spirit Keeper's Tarot. In the beginning, there is darkness and confusion, yet deep in that darkness, attainment awaits. The way to success for you is by being receptive and yielding. Yielding is the true way to lead. No need for greater ambition at this time. Be content and at peace with what you possess. Harness the force and power of soft earth. Like the earth, the sage accepts the character of all, for better or for worse, and nurtures all with compassion, without exception. If you chose 2, then this is, I think, water over fire. Well, let's see. This is, yes, water over fire. Yep. Water over fire is I Ching number 63 after the ending. I got to do some scrolling. Oh, that's maybe a little quicker. The sage anticipates possible misfortunes and pitfalls before advancing to best protect the people. Think about the consequences that your actions may have on others. A noble leader puts the people's welfare before self-interests. You have done what you have done. The matter now is what happens next. It is the time after an ending and at the start of a new beginning. Call upon the illustrious ancestor. When it comes to receiving favor from the divine, the extravagance of your offerings do not matter. It is the sincerity of your heart and piety that matters more. If you chose 3, then your I Ching is water over earth. I've done these enough that I'm starting to like. Also, you see the 3 goddesses sitting on the lotus. And again, there were lotuses blossoming in the bottom of the Ace of Chalices. I'm making a mess. I'm pretty sure this is fire over earth. Where are my bookmarks? Okay, here we go. Water over earth is I Ching number 8. I don't know if I've gotten this one before. I may have. I feel like I haven't. I Ching number 8, alliances, teamwork, alliances, and bonding. To prevent fights, a neutral voice is needed, a voice from the gods. 2 stand together, one linked to the other, bonding for strength, an alliance. To conquer the great floods and enemies, hold an assembly of the gods on the mountain. Good fortune to come when your intentions are in good faith. A fair warning, do not be late. Do not be the last to arrive. The last to arrive will receive misfortune. Your honor will be tested, but with motivation and focus, one can achieve anything. Seek alliances with those who share your truth. Okay, that was these 3. I'll go 3, 2, one. And again, I pulled those three fools because if as you live your life, you may not make the choice that appears to be more foolish, but that's just my impression off of how this is like flowing and lined out. Now, again, if you drink both chalices, the bane and the boon, they cancel each other out. But according to how I felt this, you would drink the chalice of the boon of the bane first, and then you would find the boon, which again lines up. It follows suit. That is the six of wands and the lovers, I think, or it was the lovers and the six of cups, the six of wands and whatever that other card was. Oh, it's literally right here: the six of wands and the knight of swords. This is the moon. It's like you would do the thing that may be foolish. You may like shoot yourself in the foot, and depending on how things originally work out, you may think that you made the wrong choice. But as you continue down that path, as you gain support, as what you know to be true is validated, that's when you would drink the cup of the boon. That's when you go like, oh, like this was the right choice. Oh my gosh, thank you. Because I should have put kitty cat ice cubes. I don't have any more. I need to fill my ice cube tray. Sorry. Now, so the Ace of Chalices is the challenge, but the Whispers of the Weave is that of justice. And because this lasts for 24 hours, there's almost an implication that it may be some time of, it's not necessarily a long amount of time because it's only 24 hours before like the turnaround comes. And maybe going with the wise choice, it could be drinking the cup of the boon before you find the bane. It could be like, oh, well, I listened to what everyone else said. And at first I encountered some success, but now it's like coming to bite me in the butt. I should have just did what I knew to be true. Like, listen, the Ace of Chalices, listen to your intuition. Or not, it's your life. Make your own choices and decisions, you know? So justice. I have this downloaded. I don't know why it takes so long to just like load. Hanged Man, so this should be justice. And she is. So this is like the clarifier for whatever this challenge is that the first full moon is going to bring you, potentially. Justice stands as motionless. Let me blow this up real quick. Thank you. Justice stands as motionless as an immovable rod, and not even a DC 30 strength check can move her. DC 30? The limit is 20. You typically roll a D10, right? We just saw a DC 20 check on whether or not your lowest ability improves when you eat this egg that could just cause internal magical explosions. A DC 30, not even a DC 30. So if you were as strong as a man and a half, I guess, a person and a half, but the strongest person, like the strongest person alive, and add half of their strength on top of that, you couldn't move her. Her stance is objective and firm, and though the wind whips around her, as do opinions and pleas from all manner of creatures, she stands her ground. Despite sharing the symbolism of scales with gods of war and death, justice is not so harsh. Analysis, honesty, and balance are her purview. Sometimes this results in retribution and sometimes reward. She expects nothing more and nothing less than all. She expects nothing more or nothing less than that all creatures, whether lawful good, chaotic evil, or anything in between, accept responsibility for their actions, building on the wheel's understanding of choice and ramifications. And the wheel is right here. Next to the Empress. Oh my. Oh yeah, because it was the whole thing between the Emperor, the Empress, and then the Wheel of Fortune. Got it. I remember. Justice exists to call out an inequality and unfairness, to weigh all sides of a tale, and to proclaim the truth. Contrary to common understanding of this card, her scope expands beyond mere black and white, requiring her to delve into gray areas as murky as oil of etherealness. Wow. Interesting. This justice is, what did it say? Sometimes retribution, sometimes reward, expecting nothing more and nothing less than accepting responsibility for our own actions, building on the will's understanding of choice and ramifications. So now, I guess choose a number between 1 and 5. You don't, yeah, choose a number between 1 and 5, and I'll read all of these and then I'll ask Google to give a random number to pick one for the general collective. So, if 1 is your choice, in what ways have you been treated unfairly or treated others unfairly? What must you do to readjust? 2, do you harbor guilt or shame for your actions or decisions? How can you release these feelings? 3, what can you control in the midst of a difficult situation? In what ways might you be accountable for the issue? 4, what biases or prejudices inform your beliefs, actions, and behaviors? How can you free yourself from these embedded opinions? 5, what can you do to expand your horizons? What new viewpoints might you consider? I feel like it's going to be 5, just with the vibe of the reading, but we'll see. Hey, Google, choose a random number between 1 and 5.
Here's a random number. 1.
1, the opposite of what I thought. 1, in what ways have you been treated unfairly or treated others unfairly? What must you do to readjust? Interesting. So that's, oh, I guess I still need to read the moon. The moon brings a challenge of the Knight of Swords. So that's like the lens of the first full moon. But the moon itself, maybe I should have read the moon itself first, but it's fine. The moon carries the challenge of the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is engrossed in figuring out a puzzle box. The knight will open the door if she can be persuaded to put down the box for even a moment. However, she is obsessive and reacts aggressively if intimidated. The puzzle can be solved for the knight with a successful DC 18 intelligence check, opening the box to reveal a set of horseshoes of a zephyr, which she gladly offers as a gift. DC 18 is like pretty high, but it's an investigation check. So we got a 15 on it though. I remember I did a read recently, and it was the Two of Chalices challenge. And it said you could use your perception or you can investigate. And it was that whole, like, if you go based off of your perceptions, you might miss it. But if you investigate, you'll catch it. But that was a 15. Hey, Google, roll a d20.
It's 15.
15 again. But if you roll a 15, I think that's a plus 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It might be a +3 to hit 18. Well, I guess it would depend on what your intelligence is. So we'll roll. I don't think there. Yeah, there is a D8. We'll roll a D8. 1 through 4 is negative. 1 through 4. 5 through 6 is +1 through 4. So like 1 will be -4, 2 is -3, 3 is -2, 4 is -1, 5 is 1, 6 is 2, and so on and so forth. Hey Google, roll a D8. Roll a D8, please.
It's 4.
It's a 4, which will be a -1, which would make this a 14. So we would not pass. Collectively, not passing the D18 investigation check. So we're not going to solve it for her. So we're also not going to get the horseshoes of the Zephyr. Now you can roll your own D20 or ask Google or Siri to roll a D20 or get a random number between 1 and 20. Horseshoes of the Zephyr. The Zephyr 5e, please. Thank you. 5th edition 5e. Let's see what these do. If we do solve the puzzle, the horseshoes of the Zephyr, these iron horseshoes come in a set of 4. While all 4 shoes are affixed to the hooves of a horse or similar creature, they allow the creature to move normally while floating 4 inches above the ground. This effect means the creature can cross or stand above non-solid or unstable surfaces, such as water or lava. The creature leaves no tracks and ignores difficult terrain. In addition, the creature can move at normal speed for up to 12 hours a day without suffering exhaustion from a forced march. Cool. So the creature gets to float. Because it floats, it doesn't matter the terrain that they're navigating over, and they can maintain their normal pace for 12 straight hours without being exhausted because they're floating. Cool. I'm levitating. You can run away with me tonight. So this is the challenge. The challenge is to persuade the Knight of Swords to put down her puzzle box for even a moment. But if you try to intimidate her, she'll react aggressively and she's obsessive. I feel like she is us in general. Like we are obsessing over figuring out some kind of puzzle. If we're intimidated, we get aggressive and we're just generally obsessive over figuring it out. Because the 6 of Wands is the clarifier for this, I feel like it's a puzzle that we've already solved before, because the 6 of Wands is a card of victory, an accomplishment, achievement. Whatever this Knight of Swords is obsessed with, it feels like something we've already figured out or something that we already know the answer to. Because of this full moon has an almost karmic energy. in the way of like, there's something that we will encounter or experience. There's something that we have the chance to encounter or experience that we've already successfully navigated through before. And it's a question of like whether or not we'll see that we already know the solution and then apply it, or if we'll continue to obsess over it. Now, I think the hubs of the Zephyr that we gain from this first full moon in Capricorn, if we successfully navigate it, we can affix to the hooves of the second full moon, this Knight of Coins, in Capricorn, so that the horse can just like float through whatever and not be tired. Difficult terrain won't matter. So, in that way, it would almost be like it doesn't matter if something or someone else is withholding, because you'd be able to navigate it anyway. Like your ability to navigate something wouldn't be dependent upon, excuse me, whether or not someone else will like permit you entry or whatever. Like there are no barriers to entry for you if you can successfully navigate this first part. And that could be something as simple as, again, like you make choices and decisions that align with your intuition. Your intuition is validated, even though the experts, everyone you know, and life itself, in a way, previous experiences may lead you to believe that something is not a good idea or something is not going to work out. When it does work out for you, that lets you know that by the time the next challenge or obstacle comes, like, okay, if my intuition was leading me in this way and it was 1,000,001 odds, but because my intuition was leading me, it was for me, I can do it again type energy. Again, it's like that's why there are no like barriers to entry for you, or if there are barriers to entry, like it doesn't matter especially if your intuition is leading you towards something, because it's not going to lead you towards something for it to not work out. You know what I mean? And if it is, then there's something for you to learn, because they do that sometimes. Okay. Now, the Six of Wands, we're going to do the same thing, where I'm going to read the entirety of the entry and all whispers of the weave first, and then I will choose one for the collective. So you can pick glibness. The favorite spell of the Six of Wands is glibness. Glibness is the spell that, or the Archmage of Wands that we saw yesterday was under the effects of glibness, where it's so charismatic that whatever it says is assumed to be true, even if magically verified. And it offered to put the whoever under the effects of glibness for 10 days. So interesting. If you're curious, the favorite spell of the Justice card. Oh, girl, I gotta scroll. Oh, this isn't bad because it's already loaded once. Cool. The favorite spell of Justice, it doesn't have a favorite spell. It is proficient in investigation, though. Investigation and insight. Primary abilities are intelligence and wisdom. Because Justice is proficient in investigation, this was a DC 18 investigation check. Now, proficiency doesn't always give advantage, but it's feeling like it might today. Hey, I didn't even catch that. I gotta go to the restroom. I'm gonna go. I was gonna hold it, but I'm gonna go. I'm sorry. I do it. Y'all know. Oh, wait. I don't have to do that anymore. I can do this. I'll be right back. Potty break. The drink is getting to me. as a complete aside, to my folks that don't necessarily have 20/20 vision, who have imbibed alcohol before, do y'all feel like alcohol makes your vision sharper, or is it just me? I feel like alcohol makes my vision sharper, low key. Like every time I drink, I'm like, oh, like the world looks like it's in 4K right now. Or maybe it's the Pisces in me. I don't know. Being Neptune ruled, hashtag low key, whatever. Okay. There is a proficiency in investigation, and its primary ability is intelligence. So, but again, it feels like that plays into, if we follow our intuition, because of how, again, however it resonates for you is how it's going to resonate for you. Use your own intuition. And also, because this is over a period of time, apply however it like unfolds for you, right? I guess. But again, because we choose the bane first, because we make the choice or decision that's unwise, when it works out because we're following our intuition, this isn't us being unwise or doing whatever just for the sake of doing it because you saw this or listened to somebody else. Like, this is you following your intuition. Your intuition telling you, guiding you towards the thing that you shouldn't do because it may not work out or because the odds are so astronomically not in your favor or whatever. Like, but if your intuition is guiding you in that direction and you follow it, justice is reading as it being validated. Because it's validated here, that's what gives you the proficiency when it comes to looking at whatever this puzzle is and being able to solve the puzzle. Again, it feels like being able to solve the puzzle is more so seeing the ties or connections to something that you've already overcome or something that you've already gone through. I know sometimes, sometimes it appears that whenever we have healed in a certain type of way, or whenever we reach the point where we are done repeating a certain type of cycle, we may be confronted with an invitation to jump right back into that cycle. And it's for us to be like, I see this, I recognize this, I'm not interested anymore. Because when we do that, it's like we can close that loop and move forward into the next iteration of whatever. The next iteration could be you getting like everything that you want, you know what I mean? Knight of Swords. Okay. So, favorite magic item is Horseshoes of the Zephyr. I guess I shouldn't be surprised because that's what they put for the Deck Dungeon Challenge, and I'm supposed to be in Wands. 6 of Wands is where I'm supposed to be. So, choose a number between 1 and 5 again. And this is to pair with that. Like, this is just the moon. So in every lunation cycle, this is going to sort of come up, but it may appear in a different way, or it may be not a cycle that we play through. It may be like a thing that we move through. Anyway, 6 of Wands. So this card is the stuff of every bard's dream, parading on horseback through the streets as the crowd sings praises. When you're a hero, you may often enjoy victory according to your own standards, but glory is another thing entirely, and one over which you have little control. The 6 of Wands is as much about acclaim as it is about accomplishment. The spoils of battle are the spotlight, and the treasure you stockpile is fame. It's like the confidence boost you get when the GM awards you inspiration for a creative plan or a clever solution. A creative plan or clever solution when like the challenge is to separate this obsessing Knight of Swords from this puzzle that they're like fixated on. Cool, love that. It's like the confidence boost you get when the GM awards you inspiration for a creative plan or a clever solution. Building your reputation or ingenuity session by session. Don't let these successes go to your head, however. Disrepute, defeat, and infamy are just as easy to come by, and touting your achievements too brazenly can be just as much a target on your back as riches in your pack. There's a reason GMs sometimes have to look up rules for mobs. Don't push your luck. GM is a game manager, game master. DM is a dungeon master, the narrator of the story, basically. So I'm going to read all these 1 through 5, and then I'll ask Google to give us a number for the collective. So 1, for what do you deserve recognition? How can you celebrate yourself? 2, how can you maintain the line between self-confidence and arrogance? 3, consider a recent failure or defeat you've experienced. What can you learn from it? 4, whom do you admire and why? What would it be like to tell them how you feel? 5, think about your most strongly held beliefs. Are these a result of your own thoughts or those of the people around you? I'm feeling 5 again, but it might not be. Or maybe 5 is for me. I don't know. But it feels like with the way that things are going, it would be 5. Hey, Google, choose a number between 1 and 5. Okay. Hey, Google, choose a random number between 1 and 5.
3,
3. Consider a recent failure or defeat you've experienced. What can you learn from it? This is interesting. Now, if I were to stick to how the message as it's coming through, it would be like, think of a time that you've like recently not listened to your intuition. And how did it work out? Or it could be something like, think of the last time that your intuition or discernment guided you or like warned you against something. And what did that look like? Like, how did it play out? Ooh, that's like all rum at the bottom. Or maybe there was a time recently when your intuition and discernment led you into a situation that felt like a failure. And let's say that you believe you are following your intuition and discernment, and it didn't work out for you. It didn't lead to what you wanted it to lead to, or it didn't necessarily play out how you thought it would play out. And it's like, it's almost like, what did you learn from that? Or can you see that there was still value and benefit from that? And there's someone, I think Indigo Ken, he like popped up on my feed. And he made a video on the eclipse, I guess, because I watched it like a few days ago. And he talked about an experience that he had that was like not great. And he talked to God, the divine, and was like, was I supposed to have that experience? And he was like, God was like, yeah, because you found out who you are and what your passion is in that. So even if there was some heaviness and some not great things that led to something happening, it's what you found along the way. That's the reason why it happened. And it could be something like that. Like, even though it didn't necessarily go the way that you thought it would go, maybe there's something in that that you still gained. And I feel like that would be beneficial for someone who may like not follow, who may not trust their intuition, because they may go like, oh, well, last time I listened to my intuition or followed my discernment, follow my intuition, listen to my discernment, like it led me to the situation and it didn't play out how I thought it would at all. And it was like terrible. And the situation and circumstances weren't great. And if I could avoid that, like maybe I can't trust my own intuition and discernment. But it's like if you were to realize, or if that person were to realize what it is that they still gained, what it is that they still learned, or how it is that it still served them in some way, it would just take some of the hesitation out of it. Like it feels like this may be a fear that's starting to sort of come in a little bit. And this prompt may help someone to like stem it a little bit. Cool. So this is the first full moon in Capricorn. It feels like it's related to like putting all these together, attempting to put all these together. The first full moon in Capricorn is asking you to make a choice. And as you're making that choice and decision, your intuition and discernment may speak up. Your attention may be drawn somewhere. And it feels like, or it's reading like there may be something inside of you that tells you to go the path less traveled, that leads you in a direction that may not be the wisest, but it feels like it just like pulls you into it. Now, it's possible that you could almost fall into something that's like an analysis paralysis type, like where you start to overthink, and again, like you're weighing out the pros and cons, and you're trying to validate or find things that validate you going in the direction that you're drawn to, and you may struggle. It may become a little obsessive. But if you think about what a feeling like this and a magnetism like this has both drawn you towards and repelled you from in the past, you may find reasons to trust it and to go with it. Second full moon. Oh, wait, I got to get the first alchemy. So the first alchemy, the alchemy of this first full moon, I shuffled this. Y'all didn't necessarily see me shuffle it, but I shuffled it. I shuffled this deck and I cut it. The card that came out, Sap of the Moon Plant. Which again, it's just almost like verifying, validating that there was something deeply internal that is guiding the process. Hey David, how you doing? There's something deeply internal to you that is almost bubbling to the surface. This is actually bringing was it the future sentinel to mind? And it was like the future meeting you in the present to ensure that it comes to pass. Like this is your future self. Also like being like, follow your intuition. Trust it. I don't know if like you may be receiving visions of the future, or I don't know if your vision in general is just like extra crisp right now, or if it's becoming clearer and clearer. Maybe as we approach the full moon in like 4 days or 3 days, um, it will, like, there will be things in your life that come up that you're like more of this, less of that. And again, it's kind of like with that puzzle, like if there's, let's say there's a situation that comes up and it harkens back to a cycle that you used to play out, but you have healed or you have grown wise to that cycle. It's like, will you sort of enter it again or will you move beyond it? Um, but this is something that's deeply internal, but it lies beyond healing. And I think a way in which it can lie beyond healing. So, from my personal experience, there have been a lot of times where my intuition and discernment has kept me in a situation that I wasn't comfortable, or it's kept me in a spot that I wanted to get out of, but I could tell that like I wasn't done learning or growing, or I could tell that there was something more to get. There was something more for me to get out of that situation than whatever discomfort or displeasure I was experiencing at the time at the moment. Um, like my intuition was like, don't quit, don't leave, stay. And I'm like, I am not enjoying this at all. Um, but like things end up working out in a way. I ended up growing in a way. And it's like everything. And again, it's so interesting that me staying may be opening up another avenue. Now, if I don't jump on it, if I let time pass me by, if I continue to procrastinate, then maybe the opportunity will evaporate. Um, but it's because of that experience that I stayed in that I'm like, oh, like, girl, like, I've got the experience. I know that I can do this. And it is kind of like low key funny because I was like, this is something that I don't necessarily want to do. But if I have to do this to go where I want to go, I would do it. Absolutely. And now I'm like, maybe I will. um, but again, but that's how it works, like for me. I don't know if it's necessarily the same for everybody. Maybe your intuition and discernment doesn't lead you into situations in which you're uncomfortable, doesn't lead you into opportunities through which you can grow and experience that the limitations of the past no longer apply to you. Maybe my experience, my life, my circumstances and situations are a little different. I don't know. But this is your intuition speaking. And again, we literally just saw this alchemy card. I think this was the final card that we got like yesterday. And this is the first full moon. The first full moon may be asking you, or it may be putting you in a situation, again, to honor your intuition and discernment, to listen to it when it speaks. Ooh, it's been an hour and a half, and we only on the first one. Wait. 129, 35. So, second full moon. Um, maybe I should have timestamped this part, but I'm coming right off of it. So, the moon in Cancer is basically, oh, Cancer being like cardinal water, so like intuitive, the high priestess, the chariot. Okay, it makes sense. The moon in Cancer is almost asking us if we can not only hear our intuition and discernment, it feels like the moon in Cancer specifically is more so asking if we can identify. There's a part of it that's, can we listen to our intuition and discernment? There's another part of it that's asking if we can identify cycles that we've already been through? Can we apply lessons that we've learned from experiences in the past to circumstances as they come up to move forward into a different experience, to make a different choice, navigate in a different way? Or even if we make the same choices, can we navigate in a different way to experience a different outcome? Now, the challenge of the second full moon in Cancer is that of the Knight of Coins. The Knight of Coins is fighting a ghost in this room. Oh my goodness. Not the Knight of Coins fighting a ghost. The Knight of Coins is fighting a ghost in this room. Once the ghost is defeated, the knight offers to open the door and thanks the party if they helped in the fight. If the knight is offered any healing after the fight, they offer a ring of spell storing in exchange. If the knight is killed in a fight, the door opens once the ghost is defeated. Oh, girl, not ghosts of the past. Not ghosts. Not ghosts. Goodness. Okay. Now, again, we did see the Knight of Pentacles clarifying the Page of Wands yesterday. And the Page of Wands clarifying the Page of Wands. Well, we saw the Knight of Pentacles. We saw the Son of Pentacles with the Daughter of Pentacles clarifying the Page of Wands. In the Page of Wands' Deck Dungeon Challenge, which was asking us if we can bring something new to the table. Can we put the ghosts of the past to bed? Ring of spell storing 5e. So, this ring of spell storing, I shall tell you what it is. This ring stores spells cast into it, holding them until the attuned wearer uses them. The ring can store up to 5 levels worth of spells at a time. When found, it contains 1d6 minus 1 levels of stored spells chosen by the DM. So, the Dungeon Master. Hey, Google, roll a d6.
You rolled 1.
Cool. Awesome. 1 minus 1 is 0. Because I was literally thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, what if this gives a 1 and we don't get nothing collectively? Personally, maybe you can get 5. It offers from 0 to 5. When found, it contains, so this one contains 0 levels of stored spells chosen by the DM. Any creature can cast a spell of 1st through 5th level into the ring by touching the ring as the spell is cast. The spell has no effect other than to be stored in the ring. If the ring can't hold the spell is expended without effect. The level of the slot used to cast the spell determines how much space it uses. While wearing this ring, you can cast any spell stored in it. The spell uses the slot level, spell save DC, spell attack bonus, and spell casting ability of the original caster, but is otherwise treated as if you cast the spell. The spell cast from the ring is no longer stored in it, freeing up space. See, but it's technically not found. It's given, but it said 0. There's nothing in this ring. And then the 4 of coins is here. I mean, it's the significator. I mean, I guess it's the Knight of Coins. It's not like it's the Queen or the King. Not that the Knight of Coins isn't generous, but... oh, goodness. Excuse me. I feel like the alcohol is definitely kicking in. Like I'm ready to go to bed. Anyway, that's a complete aside. I'm a Pisces. I can read under the influence. It's fine. And I don't drink enough to get like completely whatever. I just drink enough for my eyelids to get heavy. Anyway, let's actually look at. See, this is interesting because the challenge of the Knight of Swords was to get it to stop obsessing over a puzzle for even just a moment. If we are so collectively, we weren't successful in obtaining the horseshoes of the Zephyr. But if you can solve the puzzle, I think this is why. If you can solve the puzzle that the Knight of Swords was obsessing over, then you get the horseshoes of the Zephyr. And it was like the horseshoes of the Zephyr make it easier when you encounter the challenge of the Knight of Coins. And again, the energy of the puzzle that she was obsessing over, it's like it's something that, because it was the Six of Wands, it's something that we already have experience in. It's something that we've already overcome. But can we apply the wisdom that we have to the situation? If we can, then of course it would make sense that if we can apply the wisdom to the situation, if we can not only separate the Knight of Swords from the puzzle box she's obsessing over, but if we can also solve it, of course it would make sense that when we encounter someone fighting a ghost of the past, that it would be easier. It would make it easier to assist this Knight of Coins and finding this ghost. I'm going to use the SKT, I guess. What is the nature of this ghost? I'm going to pull before and after. Oh, a card just flipped over. Never mind. I was going to pull before and after. The discerning one, Two of Wands. I feel like we've seen the Two of Wands a few times in this deck. This is Mars and Aries. The discerning one. Bottom of the deck is the Ebony Shield, Sanctum of Treasures. It feels like this ghost of the past is something that prevented us from pursuing something or moving forward before. Excuse me. Once the ghost is defeated, the door opens. If we offer to heal the knight after it fights the ghost, then we're offered the Ring of Spell Storing in exchange. Which makes sense. So this is almost like a trigger. It may not be It could be triggering our fear of success or triggering our fear of failure. Like it could be a trigger in either way. But if we heal it, then we get this ring of spell storing. The ring of spell storing honestly feels like it is it aligns to that energy when the Ace of Swords came out, Quetzalcoatl. We saw the Viking, King of Swords, and the dragon. I think it was a dragon. I think it was the Ten of Wands. And the Viking was like, "I defeated Quetzalcoatl. Like, what makes you think I can't slay a dragon?" Hello. But it was that energy that was like, we don't have to walk into the world with all of our armor on and all of our weapons at the ready. We can keep them for when we need them, but to go out into the world wearing all of that is to almost invite challenge. And it's like the ring of spell storing is like similar to that. If we can overcome this ghost of the past and heal from it or be healed after the encounter with it, then we can put something in our back pocket for when we need it, which we may never need it. And if we do, it's like it won't be as occupying to the same degree. It won't occupy our mental emotional space to the same degree. The trigger won't trigger as much, if at all. But just to get over it is an accomplishment in itself, or to move through it is an accomplishment in itself. Now, between the first full moon and the second full moon, we have the alchemy of the drowned king. And we see all of this alchemical gold that is like, I don't know if it's sinking to the ocean floor. Because it's the drowned king, it feels like it is. I'm gonna read it. Excuse me. XLIX, number 49. Rex Marinus, the drowned king. Ego collapse, losing face, humility. In alchemy, the archetype of the king is often used as a symbol for the ego, the aspect of the self that is attached to its title, name, and identity. Excuse me. It is said that the drowned king is a required phase in the process of transformation. Only through dissolving who they thought they were is the king able to become who they are destined to be, a kind and benevolent leader. How does the drowning occur? Not voluntarily, that's for sure. Through circumstances beyond their control, the king is brought to their bottom, to their knees. When this card appears, expect a huge blow to the ego, impactful enough that it causes one to turn their life around, prioritizing grace over greed, benevolence over brutality, sovereignty over selfishness. The drowned king eventually resurfaces as a fully changed, benevolent king. Wow. Dissolving who we think we were to become who we are destined to be. That is what the new moon in Cancer is going to be bringing. So I'm between these two. Okay. This is interesting. So this second full moon may be a trigger because after the first full moon in Cancer, it feels like after the first full moon in Capricorn, it feels like the new moon in Cancer puts us on this new trajectory. By the new moon in Cancer, we have listened to our intuition. This is where if we drink the cup of the bane first, if we do the thing that may be foolish, this is where it starts to like turn around. This is where it starts to like work in our favor. This is when we drink the cup of the bane, and it feels like it, because that's like 2 weeks. It feels like we drink the cup of the boon after the effects of the cup of the bane have left our system. So now we are experiencing like the better of this. Now we're experiencing like, now we have advantage on wisdom and perception. Um, we have advantage on wisdom and perception where it seems like we had disadvantage before. And we are like this new person. And then it feels like the second full moon in Capricorn brings something back up. And again, like that's why, I mean, the Four of Pentacles is the significator that I chose. So it was going to be the Four of Pentacles regardless. But with the Knight of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles, that's why it was almost that energy of like us being like, I don't know if I want to invest in that. I don't know if I want to give to that. Like you didn't support me. This didn't support me when I was in whatever position. So now that I'm in a season of experiencing things blossoming and coming to fruition and growing, now all of a sudden everyone wants to be like a fan. Everyone wants to be a supporter. Everyone's like, oh, we knew you could do it type energy. And you may withhold. I'm not even going to pull a card on what you should do or not. I mean, there is still one card face down, but I'm not even going to pull one on what you should do or not do. Because that's on you. And I feel like it's not that it's irrelevant, but I'm just going to leave it open. Like this is the risen king. It feels like this is the risen king, and then there's some kind of ghost from the past that pops its head back up. I think so. The ring of spell storing, it feels like it's also capable of. So not only does it hold all of the tools from the past, but it feels like it's also going to be capable of storing things that you come upon in the future or after the second full moon in Capricorn, which it feels like presence, I guess. Like there's a certain amount of presence that the first full moon, new moon, like there's a certain amount of presence overall that Cancer season is sort of like testing us on. Regardless if we're facing a ghost or shade from the past, or if we are in the middle of trying to figure something out, or if we are considering like how we move forward into the future, there's a certain amount of presence that is like tested. We get the star. What? If the knight is offered healing, if the knight is offered any healing after the fight, they offer a ring of spell storing in exchange. The star is like literally a card of healing. So there you go. Let's see. Cool. Love it. Love it. Love it. Again, like that was the vibe. That was the energy. And I think there's still no definitive like, do you, when it comes to whatever, it Like there is no necessarily right answer. I think sometimes when we think of forgiveness or when we think of healing, it's almost interpreted in a way that like we have to make ourselves open and available to the things of the past that hurt us or to the disappointments that didn't work out or whatever. And that's not necessarily the case. Like to heal and to forgive is to no longer hold the weight of something or to accept something as it is. But that doesn't have any indication on whether or not you'll like go back to something or allow for something to happen again. Like those are two completely different things. Someone being healed or someone forgiving has no indicator on whether or not any attempt to like rekindle a relationship or to reestablish a connection, that's like it's not like it's irrelevant. Like they're not